Very good. Welcome to the Golden Chair, a place of wealth conversations. We engage various players, people who are successful in business, who are entrepreneurs, who are predominantly not working with government, working in various sectors, and we want to expose, our intention is to expose Black people to other areas other than government. So we want to make sure that people get exposed to the property sector, to the fuel retail sector, which is what we've done so far. And today we're looking at the hospitality sector with Wendy. And over the next few weeks, we are going to be looking at more and more sectors. But the whole intention of the Golden Share is to show us that the world is bigger than the public sector. The world is bigger than government, to make sure that you bring about in the mnyama ukuthi operate in the space. Namhlanje, our guest is Wendy Dlomo Nwankwo. Welcome to the Golden Chair, Wendy.
Thank you very much, Nhlanhla. I feel so honored to be part of the Golden Chair today. I've also been following and watching, and we've learned a lot over the couple of months since you've started hosting this, and I think it's really empowering for everyone to learn a few things based on people's experiences. So I look forward to sharing my journey with you and your viewers, and yes, hopefully we have a nice, candid discussion.
I am definitely sure. Just as a way of quick introduction, Wendy is in business. She's been in business over so many years. She will share that experience with us. But Wendy's family, they own CTM, 2 CTM franchises. They also own a number of what she calls, could you use Wendy?
Holiday apartments and holiday homes.
She doesn't want me to call them lodges. She says that they are not lodges, they are called holiday apartments. She will share a little bit more detail between lodges and holiday apartments and the difference between those two. But let me tell you, I stayed in one of them. Classy. We had an experience of a lifetime with the kids. We traveled, internationally, but the experience we had there was wonderful. But so today, Wendy will be sharing that journey with us. We are going to be asking her questions over how did you do it? How did you make it? So that you as a viewer can also get ideas and also be inspired on how to make it. Wendy, as a way of introduction, take us through that journey, your journey, particularly in business. I know you, for over 20 years, but let's leave that part. Let's focus more on your business side.
Well, Nhlanhla, thank you very much. Well, my journey really started both in the public and private sector. I used to sort of like go around with consulting. So I've been exposed to both industries. And before I started following up on my journey of entrepreneurship. And I think also what motivated me was being surrounded by staunch entrepreneurs. Like for instance, my husband, he's always been into business, and I've learned a lot from him, especially and people like yourself who I've looked up to. So that just motivated me to go an extra mile as well. And I'm saying, why not? I'm Black, I'm female. There are opportunities that are rising, and I need to just take them strong head on and show other people that it's also possible. And that's how I started on my journey of entrepreneurship. So when we started, I actually went into, as you said, building material sector. In South Africa. That's the industry that we literally started in. And a lot of people, I'm sure that they will understand that that's a subsector of a construction industry as well. So for all the infrastructural projects that the government has been giving out to stimulate the economy, that's where we also get a portion of that sector. For instance, in our material building sector, I think there's about 97 billion rand per annum that we get a stake of in the material building industry. So there are opportunities that are big for people to actually play into the sector. And not a lot of people, especially Black people, are actually playing in that particular sector, which is important that people become familiar about it and also see what else they can be able to do in that particular industry. Also, when we're talking building materials, we're not just talking bricks and mortar only. I mean, we are in the space of interior material, for instance, your tiling, your Sunway, etc., because also those are the components of the building material. And that's the sector that we are playing in terms of the interior way of the building material.
Just a follow-up question. The Sunway, is it the bathroom? What exactly?
Yes, yes. So your bathrooms, toilets, you know, exactly. So, so your interior finishes of the home, your laminate floors, taps. So all of those, they form part of Sunway, and also flooring, which can be wall or tile, floor tiles. Right, so that's a very big space also that we are playing into, and I'm sure that a lot of times different companies in South Africa have been focusing on that, and it's been owned by like really major corporate companies, which have been focusing on mainly the construction work, which is infrastructural based, but also the sector that has been growing over a period of years has been the residential sector, where you find that people, instead of now, you know, people are investing in property, whether just for themselves or only also for an investment opportunity, your small homes that you're going to be renting it out and use it as a form of income. And I saw that last week or 2 weeks before, we were speaking to a lady regarding opportunities in the property sector, and they spoke about also school accommodation or student accommodation. I mean, all of those are part of the investment that has been done in the property sector. And that's where we come in as well, because people are now renovating more than usual to make sure that their spaces are appealing and are competitive. And also, you know, people that are first-time buyers, also they want their places to look nice, whether for rental or for themselves. So it has really opened up a lot of opportunities for people to really play major a role in this particular sector.
Right.
Also, the most important one would be your retail sector, because you know there are different components in this. Firstly, there are some manufacturing components where people actually make tiles. You'll see that in South Africa, there are a couple of players that are actually involved in the manufacturing of the tiling sector. Although there are components also that we are importing from various countries that are also players. But also the retail sector is what we are currently playing in, where now you're distributing to the consumers, various consumers. And, you know, there's been a debate in South Africa in terms of what works better. Is it, you know, tiles that are being created in South Africa or manufactured in South Africa, or the imports based on qualities and etc. But in terms of that, there are opportunities. Like, for instance, if it depends on what your target market would be, for instance, other people can find it cheaper that they want to get into the space, but they want to import and then distribute. And other people can also use the established companies, corporate companies that are franchising their shops right now. I mean, you've got in South Africa big players like your Build It, which is part of the Spark Group. You've got CTM, Top T, which is part of your Italtal Group, and Tal Africa, which is part of No Cross South Africa. So there are various, industries and corporations that are, like mainly dealing with this particular industry. And I think a lot of us, we can research it further and be able to see what role we can be able to play in the space. But as Blacks, it's important that we realize that how vast this particular industry is and really make use of the opportunities that are existing.
Right. I always say, Wendy, we are 80% of the population as Black people in South Africa. We need to find a way, take a 20-year view, 30-year view, that by 2050, for example, 30 years from now, we should be occupying 80% of all business sectors. But it doesn't happen overnight. We need to start somewhere. We need to get more Wendys to get into the retail space. We need to get more people who are now going to say, we're taking the opportunities in the manufacturing space. You know, I'm always encouraged by a country, Turkey. Turkey doesn't have mines, but their unemployment rate is very low. And what makes it very low is because they took a view that they're going to compete with Italy and emulate the economy of Italy. And they have their own tiles, they do furniture, they do clothing, and. So that's what we need to do. But must not be driven at a country level. It will never be driven by government. It must be driven by us. Now, Wendy Nhlanhla is challenging you at home, saying there are opportunities. It's 100 billion rand industry, the materials industry. She's saying, think about it. Think about those opportunities. First-time buyers. In fact, COVID, Wendy, in my view, has made people realize that they have underinvested in their homes. I think COVID, when the economy comes back, people are going to be investing more in their homes, especially from an interior decor perspective, etc., etc. Others are going to be extending. We are going to see a lot of boom in that industry. Guess what? We need more Black people. Thanks a lot, Wendy, for sharing with us that experience. Now, you know, how can one start a building materials business without obviously speaking specifically to CTM, which is one of the franchises that you own at home? What are the key things that one must apply their minds to? Just give us, you know, from two perspectives, starting a business as well as managing, because you start, but also starting will have its own challenges, and managing that kind of a business will also have its own challenges. Can you share that experience with us, Wendy?
Definitely, Nhlanhla. I think what is actually important, especially in this particular space, a lot of people have opted for franchise because it's helping you with an already acquired model that has proven its success. When you look at the big businesses, they've already made a name for themselves. The branding is already there. Their clientele also, they trust their businesses because they've stood the test of time. So it's an easier way of actually entering into that particular market. But again, it's not that easy to be a franchise. It can be a bit of a complication sometimes. So it's important that you fully understand what you're getting yourself into. I'll make an example. If you are a bit of a free spirit and you like to do things by your own rule, it can be a bit tricky because with franchises also there are rules that you need to operate within a particular framework for different franchises that are available out there. So it's important that you understand exactly what you're getting yourself into. And be able to, be able to operate within that particular, within that particular mind frame. Also, it's important that you must do your due diligence, where you are going out to find out from the people that have actually done it and see how they've managed to thrive within those particular sectors. What are they doing right? Because a lot of people, can actually confuse it, especially in markets like the building industry. I think we underestimate the amount of turnover that can be done from those particular sectors. And a lot of people would see that particular money and think that now, you see a couple of millions in your account, but also it's high intensive. The operations are just as high. So it's easier to fall sidetrack and be thinking that, I've made it in a couple of years, where else you need to still bring back the money and put it into that particular businesses. Also, when you're going through the franchise, they provide the extensive training on how their operations are done from the manufacturing side, or if they're importing from that value chain of importing to where it ends up in the store with you. So you get to understand the background information of how your product is supposed to operate. So the easier way is to go the franchise route. But again, for people who want to explore and are independent and they don't want to be under the franchise, they can be able to look at the avenues that are available through imports, etc. But now challenges that could also be equity. It's not a very, like it requires a lot of equity that you need to come up with. So maybe, especially for us as Black people, we need to form consortiums, form partnerships, look for particular funding, and build a very strong business plan that can show what you want to achieve in terms of this, because there is a
some level of equity.
But you just need to be able to really work on it, yes, and take advantage of the opportunities that are there. Well, that is starting the business. When you're managing this business, it also can be very tricky. It's not a business that you can manage off-site. You can't manage it remotely. It's a very hands-on business based on what happens. I mean, you need to understand your business systems. You need to be able to understand your products. You need to understand all areas of your business. You cannot say you are operating at a strategic level only. You need to be able to see how someone, when they are tiling, how they are tiling, so that when you get complaints from people, you can speak from your point of authority and really understand what happens with the products. If there's a product failure, you need to understand if it's something that was done by the installers or it's something that was what happened at the factory level. So it's really important that you are educated about the products that you are offering and even how to install them. Also, it's very important to link up with the representatives or agents that are offering different products, because as you know, as a retailer, there are different people that are using the retail end to sort of like sell their products. So you need to have those relationships, build those networking relationships, and make sure that it's easier for you to be able to access the stock that is available, new things, train your employees on it, so that it's easier for them to sell it on the retail side as well. Also, you need to build a rapport with your builders, because they are the people that will really give you business. They are the people who know where construction is taking place. So it's easier for them to be able to refer people through to you. And also that will happen when you have a very good relationship with them as well. You can even use an incentive. I know other franchises and other groups that are dealing with tiles. They have an incentive skills for tilers, etc., where you motivate people to actually use your retail store for buying and their clients.
Leave your questions for Wendy. We've just done the building materials industry analysis. She's given us details. She's given us how to start the business, whether it's a franchise model or you start your own independent business. We need more Black people. The message she's telling us, we need more Black people in this industry. Now, but leave your questions there. There may be other questions that I may miss. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions. Please share the page, share the conversation, and so that you can make other people more aware of what is happening. Take your friends and tell them what in the golden chair. We are mining gold. This is a place of mining gold. What is gold? Gold is money. So let's continue, Wendy. My next question is, you didn't stop there. I know you're running the building materials business with your husband, hardworking. I've known Victor for almost 15, 16 years now. An amazing man who's a hard worker. And what I like about him, he loves his family. He's a family man as well. A father to the 2 daughters. Now, I know you didn't stop there. As part of growing the portfolio, you then started the Living Collective. As I said earlier, Bazalwane, I've stayed there. I promise you, if you haven't stayed there, you've got to go and stay in one of those holiday apartments, not lodges, holiday apartments. They are amazing. Generally we stay in hotels, etc., etc. We stay everywhere around the world. But I tell you, of all the places that you've stayed throughout the world, your place, Wendy, ranks in the top 3. We stay everywhere. I mean, with my kids, we travel. I think they've done 12, 13 countries. I don't know with them, but they still rate your place as one of the best places. They had fun. We were playing jingle. They were playing a whole lot of things. You know, it's great for the kids. It's amazing. Now, you know, tell us about how did you start? What's happening in that market? We've heard the building materials sector. We now want to hear the hospitality industry. Get into it. Kind of ways to learn from you.
This is very exciting because also it's one of our closest projects that we've actually done with my husband, because it's both the things that we like. He loves the building sector, and I love interior design. So it was like a combination of both our passions. And that's why we actually ended up with this. Actually, it's one business where we don't fight a lot. as partners.
I can imagine.
Well, this business, when we started, it actually came through our interactions with various builders, because, you know, as I said, when you build relationships, they even, you know, give you information on there's a development happening at a particular place, etc., etc. By that time, we used to live in Durban with my husband and travel, used to commute every day to Pietermaritzburg, to the store, and etc. in Newcastle as well. So when we decided, there's a prospect of development happening up in the Midlands area, and we thought, why not? There's an opportunity, and it can actually make things easier for us as well, as we are traveling on a day-to-day basis. So we went to look at the place, absolutely loved the development, and got a couple of plots there to invest in as well. One of them was our home, and then the other one we just had it as an investment as well, and built those couple of houses as well. So the idea was that we're going to rent the houses out as well. And then, build the houses, started renting them out a little bit. Another opportunity arose. We added a block of flats there. It just sort of like became like, we were building up our property portfolio.
Right.
But then we realized that, we are situated in very strategic positions.
Right.
We're surrounded by very popular schools that are around either the Midlands and which is the Hilton College. Yeah. And also around Maritzburg College, and also Girls High, which was very close to where we were. And we decided, okay, we can actually make something out of this. So let's see how it goes. And that's how we opened the Living Collective. Also, we had a bit of an issue when we were coming up to Maritzburg, because we were looking for a very short-term place to rent. Right. We had a bit of a problem. We came up, our house was sold in Durban. We wanted a place to stay. All our furniture was in storage, and we were looking for a short-term because we didn't want to be there for a while. But then we couldn't find anything available that could actually accommodate our needs at that particular time. So fully furnished, but also not going to tie us to 6 months contracts or something like that. And we struggled to find that. We ended up living in a hotel for like 7-8 weeks, which was very frustrating. Yeah. So that gap actually told us that then there must be a particular market that we can utilize by having these. That's why I call them holiday homes or holiday apartments. Because you want a space where you can be comfortable, right? But also, it mustn't tie you down into a particular contract. And we said, why not? Let's try it out and see how it went. And really, the market has been really good. We've gotten positive feedback from people, and as I've said, very close to the schools that are most popular. Most of the parents are from outside the Pietermaritzburg, so a lot of people wants to come in and check up on their kids. And why not have a space that was going to feel like home, but also give you a luxury of a hotel? And that's how DLC was born.
Now, before I move to the next question, if someone wants to get into this industry, obviously it's capital intensive. I can imagine. So it's not an easy one where you just, like I find in the student accommodation, block of AMA rooms, back rooms. So what would you advise someone who's saying, hey, I want to get involved in the space?
I think what is important is that we all have to start somewhere, somewhere small. I mean, we also didn't just wake up and say, we have TLC. As I said, it was a way of investing so that people can start renting the space. So start small and grow from there, so that you can be able to make your particular mistakes and then learn and be confident in the industry, and then grow from there into something that you want to do. Another thing that I saw as very important for me was you know, you only get one shot when you are doing a business, in any type of business. So it is important that you do you take your business seriously. Branding had to be very important for me. Yeah. I knew the kind of market I was looking for, so I needed to brand according to the people I was trying to attract. So I knew who my target market was, and anything that I did as a product offering needed to appeal to the target market that I wanted, so that I can get the people that I was looking for. Also, advertising. Advertising can be very costly. So when you're trying to get your product out there, it's important that, for me, I developed a relationship with the people that used to come through for seeing the space. And when they've been there, I would request for their pictures when they're enjoying themselves. And that's exactly what I used to send back to social media and all other advertising avenue, to make sure that people get to see how people are experiencing the space that we are offering. And it has worked well for me, and I've reduced on the cost of really, you know, spending money trying to regenerate these experiences, and we get it from our customers. But it wasn't easy. I mean, every day you can imagine the number of people coming in and out, and you need to go and interact every time with people, so that they can be able to feel comfortable in your space and also come back. I mean, when you look at TLC, we boast 70% return clients, so people love to be at TLC. And we've even struck friendship with a lot of people that actually come in and stay with us. So yeah, it has become part of the brand. Even people that look at me are like, "Hello, Miss TLC," and I love it like that.
Yeah. Well, we're also coming back, Wendy, soon.
It will be nice.
We'll get an experience. Just that, you know, the lockdown is limiting our travel movements at this moment in time. Now, let's get to the lockdown, Wendy.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the world is facing this COVID-19. If you knew a year ago that there was going to be a lockdown as a result of the COVID-19, what would you have done differently? I know it's a tricky question, but I want to understand no one knew, you know. We suspected, we know it might stay in the US, it might stay in Europe, and then boom, the first case, well, ironically, started in Hilton. The first case in the country, I think it was the 6th of March. In fact, Hilton brought us COVID in this country. I'm joking. But the whole point is, if you knew what there was going to be COVID, what would you have done differently? Or how would you have prepared for it?
Oh, well, yeah, as you said, it's a difficult question. But I think for me, I would not have done anything differently. But for people, preparation also is very important. I've always kept my overheads very low because I wanted to study the business first and see how we grow. And as I said, grow with the business. Right. So it really did help me that I didn't have a lot of overheads to sort of like pay for. But also, I think what is important is to always have cash reserves. Right. I am very conservative. I like to save. In fact, my husband always tells me that I save more than him now. He calls me a Jew. Because for me, everything is about a rainy day. So I always made it a culture to save, whatever, how much amount it is, but I make sure that I save. And it did come in quite handy to this experience, because it really affected most of the businesses. And just like us, we were not immune, we were affected. I mean, there were no traveling, there was no tourism. So our accommodation were empty. But again, it required that we think on our feet and come up with other products that we're going to substitute and make sure that we didn't run completely out of income at that particular time. But I would say always save for rainy days, because anything can happen in business. So any money that you make in, you shouldn't splurge out and now go. I know we love cars, we love luxuries and all nice things, but everything must be done in moderation, and understand that a business, it takes time to build a business. It's not just, it's not something that will give you returns at that particular time. So use the opportunity to save, invest back into your business, that it becomes really what you envisage and look at it to be in a couple of years' times to come.
Wow, thank you. So save, 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 save. In fact, if you save, you're building more money, which you will use as equity in the future for your other potential businesses. So you could be saving for rainy days, but if the rainy days don't come, you take a nice portion of that, a certain portion, and then you send it back to other potential businesses or as part of your business growth. But before you not that the way to out there, saving is important. That's the message Wendy is telling us. You are still young, Wendy. I know your daughters will not agree with me. They'll say, Mom, you're old. No, relatively speaking, compared to what you've achieved a lot. Where do you see your future in terms of business? Where do you see yourself at the age of 50?
As you said, we're still young.
Yeah.
So I would like to actually see my brand growing. We want us to be, on par with some of the great brand offerings that are out there doing or operating in the same space that we are in. So for me, it's growth and more growth. I would like to get better at the game and what I do. So that's why I'm always looking at every opportunity as a learning opportunity. As you know, we travel a lot as well, and it's not just for leisure only, but it's also to learn what other people are doing, so that we can be able to take what works and also implement it into the business that we are doing ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's growth and to see the brand actually achieve greater heights.
Well, I think there's a business called home to home or home away from home. Is there such a business? They've got quite a few in Cape Town and Gauteng. I don't think they're in Durban. They're in Cape Town and Gauteng. Well, I must tell them to watch out, because TLC is going to come closer to them, because the whole concept is to give them that homely experience at the same time, not being in their face, giving them space, but giving them great service at the same time. Now, my last question to you is, I'm going to be very biased because this is a Women's Month. That's why all our guests this month are females.
Yes.
So there could be a young woman out there who is inspired by your great story, Wendy, who wants to get into business. How would you advise this young woman? Obviously, Namadoda will benefit. I'm just reminded, I don't know whether you know the story. Which, when my daughter, there's a story, I can't remember. But I'm saying, no. You also benefit, my daughter. But it's to that young woman who's inspired by this great story, Wendy. Being a Women's Month, how would you advise our viewers out there?
Well, Nhlanhla, I would say that it's important that you have passion and you follow your passion and do something that you really love to do, because there are times where it gets really tough and it takes really tears and sweat, and I mean literally. When we were starting the brand, I used to get people calls at 12 o'clock midnight, people who are stranded and wanted accommodation, and it can get a bit tricky. But if you are still building your brand, you need to be able to experience all those challenges and grow with experience on them. I remember when I walked into the shops that are selling interior design things, people would know me by name, because I would go there, be up and down the whole day, trying to make sure that the properties are on the standard that I wanted them to be. So you shouldn't be scared of hard work. It's important that you really surrender yourself and know that it's a process that will take you time. And I would say that when you are starting out, no matter what category of property that you're getting into. You could be starting out with small places. And remember, when you're investing, it's not just about where you are staying. You can be able to buy something where it's not really particularly your type of accommodation that you would like to be around. But what is important is that does it appeal to a particular market? And that will be able to utilize that particular service. So it can't, we're all not going to be in a space where we're doing hotels or anything. And that's why we found a space in terms of the holiday homes and holiday apartments. So the industry is big. You can play in a like different sectors or segments of the market. So identify also your space, or go to it, start very small, grow from it. Don't rush. Success doesn't come overnight. Sometimes it's hard because, when you want to grow too quick, it can actually be a recipe for your downfall. So take things easy. Don't rush. Follow closely people that have done it. I look at big groups. I look at also small groups that are in the same sector as us, and I learn a lot from them. Also, deal with people who are in the business so that you can be able to share your experiences with them, share your frustrations with them, and they can advise you accordingly. And you will fail. You will make wrong decisions, but it's fine. That's how you learn. So when you fall, get up and start again. So yeah, for them, I would just really, really encourage that people just get that leap of faith and start.
Wendy, just my last question, well, not question, just your last word before we close. But the whole, every show, I always emphasize, start small. As long as we've started, start small, okay? And, save your money so that you can continuously grow your business. There are times where you will enjoy your success at some point. You will enjoy your success at 3 different levels. The first one, when your asset has appreciated and you want to exit at a particular time. It could be, whatever asset. When you want to exit, that's when. Number 2, ultimately when the business has grown enough and there's no space for further growth, you can start considering taking in, dividends instead of reinvesting. That's when you start enjoying. You can offload some of the portfolio, etc., etc. But guess what? That won't happen for at least minimum 10 years, 15 years before you start enjoying the benefits. If you are young, start when you are still young. Even if you are old, don't stop because you are 60. Continue. You will not die until you are 80 and then regret not having started. So the whole point is you've got to start. And then ultimately the third one is when you exit completely, and then you take that money to enjoy your retirement. Travel the world. Wendy, they love traveling. Beno Victor and the family, they're always traveling. But guess what? That's what you need to do. The key thing is to start. Don't stop starting because you think it's too early or you think it's late. Wealth is not created overnight. It takes years and years of hard work, of sweating. One of the things Wendy said earlier, when we were talking about the buildings material, was that you've got to be on the floor. You've got to know what is happening. Otherwise, also people are going to steal. There's going to be shrinkage. You have to minimize shrinkage. You've got to understand the product. You've got to understand the different tabs, the different tiles, etc. The products that are moving fast, and talk to clients. Why is this one moving fast? When she started the TLC brand, guess what? She had to take calls at 12 because people had promised to come at 6, but guess what? They're only leaving Johannesburg at 6 and they get stuck in the traffic and they get here, there could be an accident, or they leave late. They come drunk sometimes and they want to argue with you. And so those are all the challenges that you are going to face in business. Guess what? Success doesn't come overnight, doesn't come easy. It requires hard work, focus, and patience. Wendy, tell us, where are your holiday, am I saying them right? Holiday apartments. Just tell us where exactly are they?
Okay. We have the holiday homes up in the Hilton area. The estate's called the Gates at Hilton. It's just a few meters away from the Hilton College. And then we've got our apartments on College Road in a place called Pelham, right opposite the Premier's residence. They are at 90 College Road, and again, we've got a couple of stock there, around 44 units that are available for a rental as well. And then also, we've got a website that is up and coming. It's www.thelivingcollective.co.za, and people can visit there and have a look at what we offer, and just see all the pictures of all the properties that we have on offer.
Let me tell you, I'm saying this, and I'm not exaggerating by any chance. I'm saying it for the last time. You will not regret staying in any of those. I haven't been to the one in Scottsville, Pelham, but definitely I've been to the one as a Hilton. It's actually at the gate of a Hilton, literally. It's like, you know, our son was playing, he plays cricket, was playing cricket at Hilton College for that weekend. We had fun. He actually got very, I think he got jealous. The other kids had stayed 2 more days, 1 more day other than him, you know, a Hilton. But we had real fun. They looked after us, and not because they know us, every customer, Yabo or Wendy, they really look after them. So next week, thanks a lot, Wendy. Before we obviously use Valelisa, but next week our guest is Dr. Lulu Kwakwa. Some might know Dr. Kwakwa. You know, I've had very interesting requests from people saying, Nhlanhla, how do we become board members? Okay, how do you become a board member of either a public entity, a government entity, like Itala, IDC, etc., etc., or how do you become a member of a private company? Because Dr. Kwakwa sits in various boards, Imperial, I think FNB, there's quite a number of them. So First Rand, etc., etc. But the point I want to make to you is next week, she will be taking us on a journey on how do you position yourself to become a board member. I see Wendy is smiling because now she's saying, well, Nhlanhla, I'm ready. You know, we are talking to those people who are ready. If you think you're ready, tune in next week. She will be taking us. She's been in various boards, I think, over the last 15 years or so. She's been in various boards in the private sector, in the main. I think at some point she was an SAA. She's got lots of boards. She's got experience. But number 2, she'll also be sharing with us when you are already a board member, how do you conduct yourself? You know, a little bit of corporate governance issues, etc., etc. But the most important part is how do you position yourself to become a board member, and what is it then by board member, etc., etc. So these are non-executive director positions that are always out there. So Wendy, what is your final word that you want to share with us? Please market TLC as well, because I'm sure our viewers want to know, and tell us where your shops are so that people can now go and buy, knowing which we are supporting Dlomo, no Victor.
No, thank you very much, Nhlanhla. Thank you for having us, and we really appreciated this opportunity. As I said, the Living Collective in Hilton or in Pietermaritzburg, come and have an experience with us. And I'm just a little bit on that, Nhlanhla. You know, we actually ventured into a space of fleet, and people will probably see it when they come in. And that was as a response to our clients, because we take the feedback from our clients to heart to make sure that we improve on our offering. So we're not really into car rental, but because our clients, when they're coming from far, they will say, oh, when we need a car, particular place, you know, it would be nice if we can have a whole, you know, like a product that includes the cars as well. And we went into that by responding to our clients. So it really is an experience. So if you come and stay with us, I promise you'll have a time of your life. Yeah. So also the shops at CTM, we have shops at Victoria Road, and also in Newcastle. It's the only CTM that we have in Newcastle. So
Where
come and spend your cash with us, and you'll get the greatest service.
Thanks a lot, Wendy. We really have learned a lot from you. Thanks for coming to the Golden Chair show. We are really humbled. We are richer with information, and that information will be translated into gold. Absolutely. Pass regards to Victor and the girls. Tell them we love them. And thank you for releasing your happy anniversary. It was your 14th anniversary, Izolo.
Yes.
Anniversary, and pass regards to Victor as well and the girls. God bless you, Wendy.
Thank you very much, Nhlanhla. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. What do we do now? End the meeting. Wait.